What's up, Internet? I am the Masked Man, and it's time for another viewer request. I got a viewer question. It was the same person who left me an email about the $15 an hour minimum wage. Now, this person who sends me these questions, while I do appreciate being sent questions, I wonder, to the three or four people who watch my channel at this point, you know, on a regular basis, or two or one or two people who watch this channel on a consistent basis. I wonder who exactly you think I am. You know, I try to make it very clear that I'm not a man who is very much of an expert at living on life. I try to make it very clear that I am quite poor. Uh, I work a job that barely pays above minimum wage. I just recently found out that one of the people that I work with, who is full time, I just started a job and I'm part time, they're full time. So they make more money than me. I have a college degree. They don't even have a GED. They're working on getting their GED. So I'm not really winning. I'm not really that, bright. I'm trying to figure it all out. And when I get certain questions, I question like why people feel that I'm qualified to answer certain questions. Some of them are kind of weighty questions, that should be taken to somebody who's doing well, or at least doing better than I am. But I say send me questions, and people send them, so I gotta answer them. Now, the person who sent me this email sent me a two emails. One email was the question, and then they edited the question to change it. Since you know both are probably about the same, I will read both emails and answer both. Now they're kind of short, so it shouldn't take me that long to get through them. You should make a video on making money online versus making money going the corporate route. Many young adults spend years in college, accrue debt, and then begin in corporate America trying to barely get by, buying new cars, homes, getting married, and having kids they can't afford. Before they know it, they are in economic slavery and can't get out. However, we are in a time where there is so many opportunities online then rather than consuming as much stuff is in quotation marks, as possible. Many online entrepreneurs are living better lives, enjoying more free time, and enjoying the freedom of not being tied to a location or company. What do you think? Second email. Actually, let's edit that. It doesn't need to be specifically online business, any kind of entrepreneurship, anything from cleaning service to skilled trade to professional services, sales, etc. Now, as I've already stated at the beginning of this video, I'm not winning. I'm not doing good in life, and I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy, who's doing YouTube videos to try to hopefully make that a source of income. So I'm not really qualified to answer this question. But, with that being said, going to college. Now, there was a guy who left me a comment, and I think it was to the $15 an hour video. And he said there already is a government program. There already is, a mechanism for training people, and that's the military, but people don't want to go into it. And I said that I really wasn't willing personally to go into the military because people big up the military and make it seem like it's this great thing. But I don't know about tens, I will say millions of people, a lot of them black people, go into the military in hopes of finding a career, being able to provide a life for themselves, and they come out on the other side not too much better than when they went in. And I was considering trying to go into the military for a little while. Now I'm very, 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 very protective of staying alive. I really like not being dead. So when I was considering the military, I was trying to find something as far away from fighting as conceivably possible. So I was looking at the military somewhat. And as far as actual income, actual money that you get paid, actual money that you make, with the little amount of research that I did when I was contemplating going in, they don't really make that much money, like income. Now, as I said to the guy in the comment, they don't have that many expenses either. They get provided housing and food, they get a stipend and all of that. Certain things are provided for them, but as far as cash money, they're not raking in the dough. Even people who come in with rank, like they say, I had a college degree, so I'd be an officer. But even those people are not like pulling in dollars hand over fist. So really it's about advancement, it's about knowing the system, it's very political. And I don't want to play politics for my livelihood. I don't want to navigate the labyrinth that is the military to try to get to a certain status. It would literally have to be life or death. My life would literally have to be on the line for me to risk it to go into the military. They'd actually have to hold a gun to my head to get me to enlist. I think I would actually rather go to jail than get into the military if they brought the draft back. But that's just me. Anybody who wants to go, I recommend that you go. I recommend that you take it out. But I look at the military a lot like I recognize college as it is today. If you know what you're doing, if you're savvy, if you're smart about it, you can really come up going to college. Now, a lot of people make college into this, scam. It's this scheme. It doesn't prepare you for anything. It doesn't turn you into anything. It doesn't really educate you into the workforce. But if you know all of that going in, and you know what's in demand, you know what majors to study. If you went in strictly from an academic standpoint and you knew what was in demand, then college can be a major come up for you. But if you're like me and you looking at college from an overall, let's look at the landscape, let's look at what they provide, let's look at what they have. College is an environment unlike any other because it gives you a lot of free time and it puts you in touch with a lot of people from a lot of different places. And you can make friends with a lot of people from a lot of places. Now, I'm an antisocial motherfucker. I'm not skilled at starting conversations, having conversations. I'm not skilled at making friends. That's one of my weaknesses, and that's definitely something that's held me back in life. But if I had to do it all over again, I would have worked very, very hard in that environment in particular to make relationships, strategic relationships that I could use later on. Because you got people like even in Louisiana where I went to school, you had people from other countries, you had people from other countries who live in this country, or people who are second generation from another country. You have people who are from other parts of the state. You have people who are from other states. You have people in the military. You have all kinds of people. And if you are, somebody who generally feels like, people ain't shit anyway, you don't really have any real condemnation, any extra condemnation or extra vitriol towards any group in particular. So you'll be able to deal with anybody on a respect level, even if you're not buddy buddy. Let's hang out. Let's get a drink together. So if you are a person who likes discussing ideas like I do, and if you're a person who enjoys dealing with people on a benefit level, then you can go to college and you can build a lot of relationships. You can get a lot of the good information from the schooling. You can sit up here and build relationships with the professors. You can learn, what they actually know and what they can actually provide. Because the military over school, school, the best thing about school is you can leave it when you get what you need. You can walk away immediately after you get what you need. But the military, you got to stick with it for whatever amount of time you signed on for. Now, I think that there's exceptions to that rule, that you can get out before your time, but ultimately it's a system that has to be navigated that's a little bit more difficult. But as far as a system to get in and get out, I would prefer academics. I would prefer school, because if you know what you're doing, the debt that you can go into is worth it. It's worth what you get out of it. It's worth the benefit if you're not dumb like I was going into it. Now, I never bought into the myth that school is going to make you wealthy. I never believed that. I just wanted to not live at home. But if I was smarter about it, I would have never had to go back. I would have went to school and then done what a 26-year-old man is supposed to be doing at 26. Now, I went into a brief tangent, but I just wanted to kill two birds with one stone. Now, going to college, and accruing debt and going to corporate America, I do think that people at a young age get themselves into a lot of entanglements. If you go to school simply because somebody told you to and you didn't have a plan, and now you have a degree and your degree is not marketable, your degree is not in demand, you don't actually have any skills or anything that people actually want, that they're actually requiring or that they need, then now you just are sitting on a pile of debt. And the amount of people with college degrees who are, working at a supermarket or working at a call center or doing some type of job that doesn't require a degree, or rather they are working a job that doesn't require their specific education and doesn't pay them enough to pay off their debt in any reasonable time frame, that number is quite high. So for people going to school without a clearly defined plan, that's not a good deal. And buying new cars, getting homes, getting married, having kids, people doing shit that they can't afford is something that I've always wondered about. Because it seems that people just walk through life making the choices that they are supposed to make. Like, I'm supposed to be married. Like I did a video about Kevin Hart, and I said that a lot of people don't want to be alone. A lot of people don't want to be in a house with just them in it. They really have a problem with that. I've never actually had the luxury to be able to have full control of my time. At any moment, somebody right now can interrupt me making this video, and I'll have to trash everything that I've said in this 15 minutes and start over from scratch. That's the life I live. So me walking into a house that is mine, that has nobody inside of it, just has my things, that's that is that sounds like heaven to me. I can do that easily for a good, you know, 10, 15 years. I can do that easy. I can just do that real easy for 10, 15 years of not having to come and grow and run and jump and herking and jerking all the time because I got to deal with somebody in my house or deal with somebody where I live. So I think a lot of people don't want to be alone, and they're trying to do what they feel that they are supposed to do. They are not honest with themselves that they are afraid of being alone, and they're afraid of looking strange for being alone. So they get married too young, or they have children too young. Now, I'm black and I'm in Louisiana. So bitches have been having babies. I've been seeing bitches walking in pregnant since I was like 14 years old. Now, granted, I've never actually seen a chick in middle school, in my middle school, that was pregnant. But they were getting pregnant in middle school. And when I went to high school, they was pregnant all the time from the ninth grade on. They was having babies. I knew a girl that I was talking to for a while. You know, I was just friendly with her, just cordial. Never could have got her if I tried. You know, but I was just cordial with her, just having little conversations during, the break, because it was high school. You didn't have recess, but you had like a lunch break. You know, I was talking to her. You know, I come to find out that she had like two kids in high school. Now, I think she was in the ninth grade, maybe a year. I think she was maybe a sophomore or junior at the time. No, so she had two kids. You know, backtracking to how old she would have had to been when she started having babies, she would have had to have started early in middle school having kids. So they was having kids even though I didn't see them in my particular school. So I've been looking at chicks having babies for a long time. Chicks just have kids because they don't give a damn about their future. They don't think about, how that kid can slow them down. And in many, many cases, they pass the child off to be raised by somebody else. So it's not really their responsibility. In actuality, the kid ain't holding them back at all. The kid ain't slowing them down at all. There's been women with children in every level of education I've been in. There were children with babies. I keep saying children with babies. Maybe that's what I mean. Maybe that's what I mean, children with babies. But there's been women with children in every level of education I've been in, from high school on to college. There's been chicks with kids. So they can do pretty much what they want, but it's still ultimately that they have some level of responsibility. If who's ever taking care of that child falls on hard times, or if they pass away, then it's going to be transferred back to them, and that would be something that wouldn't be a problem if they didn't have a child. That's why, a lot of pro-black people are anti-abortion. But I just think, like, okay, if you're anti-abortion, either you think there's going to be some massive movement for monogamous relationships and celibacy, or you just believe that the babies that are going to be born to these women are just going to be taken care of, by positive thoughts. Like, who's going to take care of all of these children? Who's taking care of all of the children now? I'm very pro-abortion. I'm pro-abortion. I'm not pro-choice. I'm pro-abortion. I want you to get rid of the baby that you don't want. I want you to. It's a mercy killing. It's a mercy killing. Oh, is it murder? Of course it is. Yes, it's murder, but it's a mercy killing. Because what kind of life is a child gonna have being had by a mother that don't want it? So I don't really I don't really, I'm not moved by that unless you have some type of infrastructure to funnel all the unwanted children into, where they will have a good life, good education, have what they need. I really can't condemn women for having abortions. Um yeah. Okay, buying new homes, getting married. I just think that people like a lot of entanglements. I think people have a lot of entanglements. They like a lot of entanglements. They do things for the purpose of fitting in. We don't we don't talk a lot about peer pressure. Now, peer pressure is a word that I or a phrase that recently came into my consciousness, or recently came into my mind. And we never talk about how much peer pressure is really exerted on folks to conform, how much conformity peer pressure exists, particularly with the LBGTQ. There's a lot of peer pressure to just like that shit. There's a lot of peer pressure, but we don't discuss peer pressure as far as accepting that lifestyle and as far as how it can affect people's decisions in every area of life. We don't even look at peer pressure as bullying. We got a whole bullying movement, but we don't associate peer pressure with bullying, and how the many different forms that peer pressure can take. So I think that peer pressure plays a role in why people want to buy cars that they really can't afford, and homes that they really can't afford, and get married when they should really be single, and have children when they really should be working on their relationship. So people running to fit in, running to look like other people, gets them wrapped up into slavery. That's what gets them tied into slavery, because they tried so hard to look normal that they didn't think about what's really best for me personally. Not even my family, what's best for me, and then work from there. Most people are not doing that because there's something evil and sinister and horrible about thinking about yourself and about doing for yourself. You're always supposed to put other people ahead of you and before you and beyond you. And you always come last, and you always serve, and you always are trying to help somebody else. Well, when you pump that into people's heads, then it's very hard for them to actually sit back and say, well, okay, what's the best move for me, and what's the best move I need to make? I think that's how people keep getting wrapped up into slavery, because they're afraid to think for themselves. They're afraid to do for themselves. Having a lot of stuff, consuming as much stuff as possible. I don't believe there's anything wrong with material things. I don't think there's anything wrong with material goods. Um, I think it wasn't Khalil Muhammad, but it was one of the brothers from the Nation of Islam. Uh, Daniel Freeman. He left a post in his Facebook his Facebook page about a guy. I think if you scroll down, you can find it. There was this Muslim minister who was talking about what heaven looks like. If you hear heaven described, the biblical heaven, the heaven of the Bible, it's a lot of material. Gold slippers, the best robes, gold streets, living in mansions, drinking the finest, living the finest, everybody's fine. It's very material. So there's nothing wrong with material, or having material, or acquiring things. It's just that you acquire things and have things that you can actually afford to have, and that you actually value and appreciate and like yourself, that you can afford it and you have it because you like it. Jay Leno doesn't have a lot of nice cars because he's trying to show off. He likes nice cars, and he's even bought so many and done so much work that he's turned his hobby and his thing that he likes to do when he wasn't doing a talk show into a profitable business. He has like car museums and an online television show, and he charges admission. He's turned the shit he likes to do into something that another stream of revenue. Spending obscene amounts of money on old cars that don't work well, he made it profitable. So as long as you're thinking along those lines, I think you'll be fine. If I ever get lots of money, and you were one of the very select, I'm not even gonna say that, but if you were to come to my home, if you were to come to where I live, you would see a crazy, insane amount of movies, just a ridiculous amount of movies. And I would have a Netflix account, and I would have a Hulu account, and I would have cable, and the channels and internet. I would have all of that because that's the shit I'm into. That's what I like. I'd have a lot of physical copies of movies. I'd have flash drives filled with shit. I'd have all forms and all genres of entertainment. I may get back into playing video games. I may have a lot of books. That's the shit I like. I like media. So you would see a lot of media in my house, but I ain't doing that to impress nobody. And if you see what I'm doing now, I'm trying to turn that hobby and that thing that I like to do into a source of income for myself. I talk about some, not everything, that I watch. I discuss it. Like, I don't know if you can have in depth, deep analysis of a porno, so I don't want to really talk about that. But if you could, I may try to make money talking about that, but you can find that shit for yourself. But if it was a thing, it's a form of entertainment. So hell. Many online entrepreneurs are enjoying better lives, enjoying more free time, enjoying the freedom of not being tied to a location. Many entrepreneurs are not doing anything. Many entrepreneurs are not doing anything. As far as owning a business or being in business for yourself, it all depends on how much you know. If you've ever watched the show Shark Tank, Shark Tank was the thing that let me know that I don't want to own a business. Because for years I went to business school, all from the idea that I wanted to own a business. And after watching Shark Tank made me realize that that's not what I want to do. Now, if you want to know what I want to do, I just want to do things that are profitable on an as needed basis. I just want to be self-employed. I don't want to work for a corporation necessarily, but I just want to be so good at different things that I can just do a lot of things and get paid a high amount of money and save the money and invest the money and do what I want to do. But I don't want to own a business. The reason why and I'm not going to stay on that. The reason why most businesses fail is something that you can easily figure out if you watch Shark Tank. Most businesses fail because they are stupid. Most businesses fail because they are stupid. And if they are not stupid, then they fail because they are not being run correctly, because there's a lot that you have to learn to be able to run a business effectively. And if they are not stupid, and if they are well run, then they may not be something that is valuable enough to the general public for you to make any real money doing it. And if you have conquered all three obstacles, then you still may be spending 16 hours, 12 hours, investing all of your time just to earn a living that is equal to what you would be earning if you just worked a job. And that business may not even be sustainable or something that you can pass down to your children without them having to also be a part of the business. And I don't believe in forcing somebody, to live a life that they didn't ask for. They may not be interested. If I had children and I had a business, they may have no interest at all in being in the business that I create. Now, maybe if it was a large company and it made a lot of money and it didn't need to be taken care of, then they could just collect dividends. But I'm not going to ask that they work at my business. My business is my business. They can get their own business, but they don't need to come in and run my shit. My shit should run on its own. And a lot of businesses that go on Shark Tank, or a lot of businesses, period, they're not things that can run on their own, and they're not things that can get big. And in most cases, they're stupid. So I don't believe that there are many entrepreneurs online that are doing great. But of the people who are doing great, they have to work like any business owner. There's this fantasy that people have, and I saw a video on it, and I'm not going to be able to find it because I saw it too long ago. But there's this fantasy where you can passive income. Passive income. I think I will be able to find it. I may leave it in the description. But there's this fantasy of passive income and being able to make passive income, that you can just do a bunch of shit online. This is particularly for online, that you can do a bunch of shit online, or you can have a website and it'll just make money, and you can go off and be in Tahiti and you can just sip Mai Tais all day and you won't have to work. A business is a business. You got to work. You got to work just like any other business. So you have to put the time in. You have to do the work. You have to keep up with the trends. You have to follow what's going on. You have to be on top of your game. If you're looking for a shortcut, if you're looking for a way where you can profit without working, you're selling yourself a lie. You're not going to get around the work. You're not going to get around the effort. You're not going to get around actually spending the time, spending the energy, doing your due diligence. And the same thing you can do online is the same thing you can do in your city. You can make money in your city if you figure out what makes money. You get enough money to buy the raw materials or to buy the product, and you go out and you make sales. You figure out how to communicate with people. The same thing you would do on the streets is the same thing you do online. The same amount of effort it would take on the streets is the same amount of effort, or really even greater effort it takes online, because people, when they are online, they can disregard you. They can ignore you. They can tell you they're going to do something and never do it. At least in real life, when you've closed the sale, you've closed the sale. In the internet, things require much more effort and much more attention. It's a land all its own, with its own rules to figure out. And I'm not there where I can really advise people on how to navigate it, on how to come up, on how to be successful. I don't know what somebody needs to do to be successful online. Successful in what way? What kind of business do you want to open up? Do you want to open up an Amazon online? Do you want to open up a Beyond Bed and Breakfast, or one of those, the Ubers of homes? I don't know what you want to do. So there's too much variety of shit online for somebody for somebody to partake in. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to blog. That's what I'm trying to do. Just get good enough at stating my opinion on things that I'm interested in, or things that people bring to my attention, and to be able to have an audience watch me deliver my opinion. That's what I'm trying to do. So as I figure out more, and if and as I grow doing this, then I will give the information of what has or what is working for me. So it's really a process of learning. So this will be a question, that you probably need to bring back to me, you know, in 2 or 3 years, if I've taken, my 39 subscribers as of this date, and I've raised them up, to 100,000, then this is a much better question once I'm actually being supported by the work I'm doing. I'm not qualified to tell anybody how to be successful online, or that online success is an easier success or more reliable success. It's certainly different. Here's what I'll say, to online, and you also had cleaning services, trades, professional service. It's always good to do other thing and to learn other things that could benefit you. Um, it's good if you're working a job, and if you're doing better than me, your jobs are paying your bills. It's always good to take a little time for yourself and invest in yourself. um, Maybe you work full time, and full time has you having a comfortable living, but you're so tired that you can't really learn or work for yourself or do anything for yourself. You're too tired. You work too hard. It's too physically demanding. Most people don't actually have jobs that are that physically demanding, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say you have a job that's very physically demanding and it takes a lot out of you, but it's never going to provide you with the quality of life that you want for yourself. You need to consider very seriously about going from full time to part time, and using that extra time to invest in yourself and to learn about other things. Maybe you want to do like me and you want to blog when you don't have to be on a job. Maybe, and you want to learn about that. You want to learn, you have real life friends. You are a funny person, an entertaining person who can come up with skits and all types of funny shit. You can do that shit all day, but you just have to learn how to be funny, and you have to learn it. It may take you a couple of years, it may take you a couple of weeks, but you are committed to doing it. You just haven't giving yourself the kick in the ass to go do it. So maybe you need to take a little pay cut and suffer a little so that you can invest in yourself, so that you can do the work and actually have something better. Maybe you're not dirt tired, but you just don't do anything other than kick it with your friends and drink and go to the clubs. Instead of doing that, maybe you take some time and you go to school online, or you pick up a trade, or you get a cleaning service, or you figure out how to earn some money online. It's always good to constantly be working, to always be at work, to always be in thought, to always be in talks of how you can make your life better, never being content. And it's not about acquiring more and more things. It's about having more and more control over your life, over your time, over your over over your enjoyment and your pleasure out of life. So the best advice I can give you is to just figure out how to make everything work for you. a lot of times you'll be at a job and there'll be opportunities for advancement. There'll be opportunities for you to take little classes where you can learn things. Figure out how to make yourself more valuable. Figure out how to make yourself indispensable, not to that company in particular, but just in general. How can you learn something in that company, wherever you work, that you can go out and take somewhere else, that you can go out and do for yourself with the amount of money that you can take walking out the door? How can you scale it down? How can you scale down their major operation to a micro operation that gives you enough to be comfortable, and then you can just build from there? And maybe you don't even want to be in their business, but you can do it and you wouldn't hate it, and you can do it for yourself and get enough of money so that you can actually do something else that you want to do. It's all about figuring out how to make everything work for you, everything benefit you, everything do something for you. Every person you meet, everything you read, everything you see, it all has to be for your benefit. So online entrepreneurship, nothing is easy. If you're looking for something easy, then kill yourself. Kill yourself, because there's no easy. I'm not even going to say easy, because it's not hard. It's just work. And if you're looking for a way to get around work, then kill yourself, because you ain't getting around work. There's no escape. There's no cute little words you can say. I don't work a job. I'm hustling. Nigga, you working. I'm grinding. Nigga, you working. I'm scheming. Nigga, you working. Whatever you talk, I got a business. I'm an entrepreneur. Nigga, you working. You gotta work. There's no way around the work. There's no way around effort. There's no way around the due diligence. There's no way around the time and the energy. There's no way around it. You can't get around it. It's a part of life. And unless you are actually a god, you don't get to not work and live well. Well, that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think. Leave me your comments. Rate the video, like it, dislike it, be honest. Subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with the videos that I'm making. If there's any question or any topic that you want me to cover, anything that you want me to talk about, you can send me an email at themrmaskman@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter and find me on Facebook at The Mr. Maskman. That is all I have to say about this subject. So I will see you in the next video.